Good afternoon, everybody. Today I am going to continue lesson number 3, The Gift of Magi of First English 10th Standard. As in the previous paragraphs, we read that Della and Jim were very eager to show their gifts to each other. The door opened and Jim stepped in and closed it. On his usual timing, Jim came, and as soon as he came, he closed the door. He looked thin and very serious. He looked very tired and very serious. Poor fellow, he was only 22, and to be burdened with a family. Jim was just 22 years old, and within such a smaller age, he was burdened with the family problems. He needed a new overcoat and he was without gloves. He desired to buy a new overcoat and even the gloves. Jim stopped inside the door as immovable as a setter at the scent of quail. Jim, as he entered, he was motionless, he was shocked, and he stood there as a small bird. Quail is a small bird. His eyes were fixed upon Della. He stared at Della, and there was an expression in them that she could not read, and it terrified her. There was an expression in Jim which Della could not read. She was shocked. It was not anger, nor surprise, nor disapproval, nor horror. The emotions were mixed. He was not angry, he was not surprised, he was not disagreed, he was not afraid, nor any of the sentiments that she had been prepared for. She could not read out the emotions and she was not prepared for it. He simply stared at her fixedly with that peculiar expression on his face. Jim stared at her because Della was looking very peculiar. Della wriggled off the table and went for him. Della wriggled. She moved aside the table. Jim, darling, she cried, don't look at me that way. So immediately Della told Jim not to look at her in such a way. I had my hair cut off and sold because I could not have lived through Christmas. She immediately told that she was looking very strange because she had cut off her hair and sold it as there was a Christmas and she could not have any other option to buy a Christmas gift for her husband. Without giving you a present, I'll grow out. It will grow out again. You won't mind, will you? She said that Jim shouldn't worry about her hair because they grow very soon. I just had to do it. My hair grows awfully fast. Say Merry Christmas, Jim, and let's be happy. So she said that let's not worry about her hair because they grow very fast. Let him wish Merry Christmas to her and let him be happy. You don't know what a beautiful, nice gift I have got for you. And she said that he may not be knowing what kind of gift Della had brought for Jim, as the gift was very beautiful as well as nice. You have cut off your hair? Asked Jim laboriously, as if he had not arrived at that patent fact yet, even after the hardest mental labor. Immediately, Jim asked, had Della cut off her hair? He asked this because he was totally disturbed and he hadn't noticed about Della's hair. Cut it off and sold it, said Della. Della immediately said that she had cut it off and already she sold also. Don't you like me just as well anyhow? And she asked, however she is, will Jim not like her? I am me without my hair, aren't I? She said, she is same without her long hair. Jim looked about the room curiously. Jim started looking at the room very eagerly. He was searching where Della had kept her long hair. You say your hair is gone, he said with an air almost of idiocy. Then Jim said, you are telling your hair are gone. You need not look for it, said Della. Della said not to look here and there for her hair. It's sold. She said that already she had sold the hair. I tell you, sold and gone too. She said, as I am telling that, already I have sold and my hair might have gone. Means some other person surely might have purchased it, those hair. It's Christmas Eve, boy. Be good to me, for it went for you. Maybe the hairs on my head were numbered. She went on with sudden serious sweetness. She said, as it is a Christmas day, let him be happy, let him not be worried about the hair. But nobody could ever count my love for it. She said that maybe her hair had a number, but the love which Della had for Jim, it is countless. But nobody could ever count my love for you. Shall I put the job on Jim? Then she asked whether she had to serve jobs to Jim. Out of his trance, Jim seemed quickly to wake. As Jim too was very much disturbed, trance, a mental state in which a person is unaware of the environment. He did not knew it what she was telling. He unfolded his Della for 10 seconds. Let us regard with it this discreet scrutiny some inconsequential object in the other direction. So they said that let us not think any other inconsequential means not significant or insignificant. Let us not think any other thing, that is about the hair or about any other thing. $8 a week or million a year, what is the difference? Whether a person has $8 earning or a million a year, it doesn't matter. A mathematician or a wit would give you the wrong answer. If any mathematician would be there, surely he would have given the wrong answer. So here Della wanted to say that money is of least importance. The The Magi brought valuable gifts, but that was not among them. So he said, all the three Magi who had brought valuable gift for Jesus, they were not among them. This dark assertion will be illuminated later on. And this dark assertion means mysterious statement, it will be later known. Jim drew a package from his overcoat pocket and threw it upon the table. Then he removed the pocket and threw it upon the table. Don't make any mistake, Dell, he said. Dell is here, Della. He said, not to misunderstand him about me. I don't think there's anything in the way of a haircut or a shave or a shampoo that could make me like my girl any less. But if you will unwrap that package, you may see why you had me going a while at first. He said that it is not the question of a shave, haircut or of shampoo, but when you open this package, you will realize that you would have not bought your gift before seeing my gift. White fingers and nimble tore at the strange and paper, and then an ecstatic scream of joy, and then alas, a quick feminine change to hysterical tears and wails, necessitating the immediate employment of all the comforting powers of the Lord of the flat. Here, the gift which Jim had brought, Della started opening with white fingers and nimble toe. She started removing the strange and the papers which were wrapped. Immediately, she was very, very happy, and the very next minute, she was sad, and she started crying it. For there lay the combs, the set of combs, side and back, that Della had worshipped for long in a Broadway window. Here, what was the gift that Jim had brought? It was the set of combs which had the side and back that Della had worshipped for long in a Broadway window, and that type of combs from long Della had desired. Beautiful combs, pure tortoise shell with jeweled rims. So those combs were beautiful, and they were made up of tortoise shells, and they had the jewels, just the shade to wear in the beautiful vanished hair. They were expensive combs, she knew, and whenever Della wore those beautiful combs, one could understand that they are very, very expensive. She knew, and her heart had simply craved and yearned over them without the least hope of possession. She felt it very bad because the comb which he had brought, those were totally waste, and now they were hers, but the tress that should have adorned the coveted adornment were gone. Why she felt bad? Because the tresses means hair, the hair which she had, long hair, on which she would have adorned those combs, they were not there, as already she had sold. But she hugged them to her bosom, and at length she was able to look up with dim eyes and a smile and say, "My hair grows so fast." She hugged those combs, she took it near to her bosom, and she smiled, and she said, "Her hair grows so fast." And then Della like a little singed cat and cried. Della leaped up and started crying it. Oh, oh, Jim had not seen his beautiful present. Now, Jim hadn't seen the gift which Della had brought for him. She held it out to him eagerly upon her open palm, as Della had opened that gift and she kept on her palm. The dull precious metal seemed to flash with a reflection of her bright and ardent spirit. The dull precious metal, as platinum is not bright metal, it flashed with a reflection of her bright and ardent spirit. Isn't it dandy, Jim? So Della asked, isn't it very wonderful? Dandy means wonderful. I hunted all over town to find it. She said that gift, she searched it everywhere in the town. You will have to look at the time 100 times a day now. Give me your watch. Then she said, now by attaching this fob chain, as Della had brought a fob chain for Jim's watch, so she said, now you could look 100 times. You could look it 100 times. You may not feel it ashamed to see it because previously the watch had the leather strap. Give me your watch. Then she asked the watch. I want to see how it looks on it. She said to the watch, when this fob platinum chain is attached, she wanted to look at it how the watch looks. Instead of obeying, Jim tumbled down on the couch and put his hands under the back of his head and smiled. Then Jim tumbled down on the couch and he put his hand on his head and smiled. Dell, said he, let's put our Christmas presents away and keep them a while. Then he said, let us keep the presents aside. Let them forget about the gifts. They are too nice to use just a present. Both the gifts are very nice as a gift. I sold the watch to get the money to buy your combs. Then he said that he had sold that watch which was gifted by his great father and grandfather to his grandfather. Ancestral watch we can say it. So that watch he had sold it to buy the set of combs which Della had desired it from long. And now suppose you put the chops on. And immediately he said to serve the food. The Magi, as you know, were wise men, wonderfully wise men. The Magi, as already in the introduction of the lesson, I told about the three wise men, Caspar, Melchior and Balthazar, who had come from Persia to gift the newborn Jesus, who brought gifts to the babe in the manger. They had brought the gifts, babe is here, Lord Jesus, in the manger. They invented the art of giving Christmas presents. So those three wise men only started the art of gifting on the Christmas. Being wise, their gifts were no doubt wise ones. As those three persons were very wise, surely their gifts were also wise, possibly bearing the privilege of exchange in case of duplication. And here I have lamely related to you the uneventful chronicle of two foolish children in a flat who most unwisely sacrificed for each other the greatest treasure of their house. So here in the story, the two foolish persons living in the flat, that is Jim and Della, they were very unwise in purchasing their present But on the other hand, we can say that they were very loving to each other because they sacrificed their dearest thing for each other. But in a last word to the wise of these days, let it be said that of all who give gifts, these two were the wisest. So in the end, the writer says that the persons whoever gift each other, among those all, these two persons are the wisest of all who give and receive gifts, such as they are wisest. Everywhere they are wisest, they are the Magi, and those were the Magi.